الصلاة وأتم التسليم على خير المرسلين نبي الهدى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. خير سيرة خير الأنبياء وخير المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Continue the best of life of the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم with all of its details. Everything in his life صلى الله عليه وسلم is meant for a purpose from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah عز وجل أخرجه رحمة للعالمين, mercy for mankind, أسوة للعالمين, as a guide for all the world. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam migrated to Al-Madinah, and now he's establishing the state, and we know the state needs power. All throughout life, throughout history, for any state to start, it has to have this military power. We know that Islam is there. أَعِدُّوا لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. Prepare this kind of power. The power in Islam is there to establish peace, to establish equality, to be deterrence. رَدْعَ. So people or other states would not dare to give hard time to Muslims. Muslims moved from the time of Mecca, being so weak, being so persecuted, to the time that they are establishing themselves. They had a couple of major encounters, battles with their enemies. In both of them, it has been the enemies who came all the way to where the Muslims were in Medina to fight against them. Muslims won one time, which was Badr, and Muslim kind of lost the second major battle of Uhud. And then a couple of catastrophes happened after that, where Muslims, in the way of da'wah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was requested to send people to teach other tribes Islam. And in both cases, the tribe that these people were sent to killed the du'a. In one case there were 10, in the other case there were 70 of them, and all of them were killed with the exception of one or two who managed to escape the second one. حادثة الرجيع وحادثة بئر معونة. And now, after that, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had, that we had three tribes or three categories or groups of Yahud who lived with the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina. And from day one, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam established this peace treaty that we defend. We live together, we coexist, we help one another as far as finances and everything, just being different groups, living in the same cities, enjoying all the rights and everything. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. You worship our Lord, you worship your Lord. The three groups of Yahud, somehow they broke this treaty. The first group, we talk about it, Bani and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they broke the treaty and they had to end up leaving Medina. The second group, they almost did the same thing, An-Nadhier, where they did almost the same thing, but now they did it with the Prophet ﷺ. And Nabi ﷺ happened to be visiting them for some reason, and they said, well, he was asking them for something. He said, we would respond to you, just give us some time, we go and we come back to you. As he was sitting ﷺ in their district, in their place, in their part of the city, they said, well, this is a golden chance for us. Somebody should go and take this raha, which is a big rock. They use this mill, two rocks, where it's used to grind the grains and so on. So it's big rock. Take it and go on top of this house where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was reclining, we're sitting, and just drop it in him, and we get rid of this man. In the meanwhile, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Jibreel alayhi salam to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell him that they are planning to kill you. You got to move, to go away right now. And he left sallallahu alaihi wasallam without even telling his friends. He had a group of friends with him. He left the district of Yahud, and then the Sahaba followed him. They didn't know what happened. He told them later on that Jibreel came to me and told me about their plot to kill me. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them that you broke the treaty, and now it's time for you to leave Al-Madinah. You cannot stay anymore in Medina. You have 10 days. After these 10 days, prepare yourself and leave. You broke the treaty. We coexist, we live together. Now you broke the treaty by betraying this. He gave them 10 days. But what happened is, again, Yahud, the leader, the Munafiqun, Muslims, not all of them were true. There was a big group of Munafiqun, hypocrites, under the leadership of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. He sent to them. He said, well, do not listen to him. Do not go out of your home. We will help you. لا نطيع فيكم أحد لأن قتلتم لا. We will support you, will be with you. And this was the surah of Surah Al-Ahzab. Allah revealed everything. Do not go. I have 2,000 fighters. We all support you. Do not leave your place. They sent back to the Prophet ﷺ. They said, well, we're not going to go nowhere. We're staying here. We don't care about the treaty or whatever. We're staying here. Well, Nabi ﷺ, he got ready for the war. And he came out to encounter them. And he besieged them. He followed عليهم صلى الله عليه وسلم until they had to give up. And then the munafiqun who promised to support them, the hypocrites, they didn't support them. They said, لئن أخرجتم لنخرجن معكم ولا نطيع فيكم أحدا أبدا وإن قتلتم لننصرنكم والله يعلم أنهم لكاذبون. They said, they promised them, if Muslims fight against you, we support you. If you have to leave, we would leave with you. We are 100% for you. But then when it came to the action, they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described this as being كَمَثَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِذْ قَالَ الْإِنسَانِ يَكْفُرْ فَلَمَّا كَفَرْ قَالَ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّنْهُ. This is exactly the story of Shaitan when he tells the human being to disbelieve or abandon the religion. The minute he abandoned the religion, Shaitan will not do anything for him, will not support him. So they did the same thing. Hypocrites told them, we support you. Now, يعني كده بالبلد يشبوها يعني they got into it, nobody supported them. Now, then, subhanAllah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even allowed them, you can take whatever you can carry with you, take all your money if you want, but no weapons. You cannot take weapons. Will not take whatever you want. ما حملته يعني كذا. SubhanAllah, they took كما قال عز وجل يخربون بيوتهم بأيديهم وأيدي المؤمنين. They اقتلعوا الشبابيك والأبواب. They got off the doors of their houses and the windows. Allah described this in the Quran as being يخربون بيوتهم. They kind of they are destroying and demolishing their houses with their own hands and the hands of the believers. Most of them, many of them migrated to outside of Arabia, completely to Asham and so on. But many of them, they stayed in Khaybar, which is kind of far from Medina, but still within Arabia. Sometime after that, we said that Abu Sufyan, the leader of the Mushrikun, at the end of the battle of Uhud, he told Muslims, موعدنا بدر العام المقبل يعني. We encounter you next year, we come to meet you next year in Badr. So the next year came and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went to Badr waiting for them, and he stayed there for 8 days. Abu Sufyan knew about the time, and he kind of got some fighters with him, big army, and he marched towards Badr to fulfill the promise and go and fight and so on. But after a couple of days, he said, well, I don't think this is the right time for us to go to war. It's not, we are not ready, we're not 100% ready for that, let's go back. He went back. That was a very good plus or point for Muslims, that they came out to encounter the enemy, but the enemy failed to show up. So they gained some kind of, or regain or reattain some of the honor amongst all the tribes around them by that. And that's why, subhanAllah, for the next 1.5 year, almost 1.5 year, Muslims were completely in peace, because all the enemies, the little tribes, like those people who betrayed the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by requesting, you send us some people to teach us, and then they killed them. Nobody dared to do anything after gaining this kind of strong position of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, going out, being ready to encounter the same enemy who defeated him a year ago, but then it was the same enemy who failed to show up. So for the next 1.5 year, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was living in peace, and he started to even go after Qutta' al-Turuq all the way to the end of Arabia, to the borders of Sham. He was trying to establish peace and establish the rules. Arabia at this time, a nomad society, مجتمع صحراوي وكذا, قطاع الطرق, the highway robbers and so on. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because he didn't have any attack or any threat from anybody, he managed to settle down everything all the way around Medina, all the way to Dawmat al-Jandal, all the way in the north. But then something will happen, another major thing will happen, that will be at the 5th year after Hijrah, where a battle that's different from any previous battle. We said there used to be a couple of thousand people who came, or 3,000 who came to attack Muslims, but at this time 10,000 fighters will come all the way to Medina, not only Quraysh and so many other tribes. will come to attack the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Muslims in Medina, and this is we will know what's going to happen inshallah in this encounter, which will be Ghazwatu al-Ahzab, or the Confederates, or al-Khandaq, the trench. We talked about it a few weeks back, but we will talk about it in detail next time inshallah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم.